Hello, hello. It's Gina Casano, and welcome to my new series, Let's Talk Life. Today's topic is around bullying and boundaries, simply because I feel like we needed a little bit more discussion around what it looks like, what it feels like, and some ways to overcome the challenges that both adults and kids are faced today. So I just want to give it a minute and wait for some other folks to join. I'm really excited. This is a great session. So if you're just joining me, say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're from, and I'm so excited to be here today. I'm just curious. This is being recorded, and it will be in the video section of the Mindshift page, so you can always watch it after or share it with somebody who you know can use this message, or even tag them in the comments below. But I'm just curious to know what brought you here. So comment in the chat and let me know what brought you here today. So I'm going to get started. And I want to talk about what bullying is, what it might look like and feel like. And I want to share a few tips that you can use right away to avoid being bullied or bullying others, and even set healthy boundaries for yourself and feel more confident overall. And so again, if you know someone who could use to hear this today, please share this video or even tag them in the comments below. It's a really important message, and I feel like it's very valuable that you could share with friends, family, teens, younger children. It's really relevant for everyone. So I want to share a story with you. So many times I hear from people about their struggles with bullying, whether it be online, also known as cyberbullying, or in person. We aren't always sure the best way to stop bullying or handle it from happening to us or kids or others that we know, or even how to set healthy boundaries with controlling people in your life, such as friends, families, family members, colleagues, or even strangers. I remember a time several years ago, I was actually on the train coming back from New York City, and I overheard a man and a woman talking. It didn't really sound friendly. It was late at night, but curious me, I leaned over, and a few rows ahead, there was a man standing there, but he was leaning over a woman who was sitting, and what seemed to be, she was minding her own business. This man kept talking to her, and I just kept watching because it didn't seem right. It just felt off. And this man kept talking to her, and the conversation became more loud, rude, and actually inappropriate. So I watched this go on for several minutes, and when the woman finally got up and she moved seats, that didn't stop the man as he followed her to her new seat and began the same taunting behavior. So it was clear to me at that moment that they didn't know each other. He was intoxicated, and that she wanted to be left alone. So I looked around, and there were adult men and women on the train, and not one person said or did anything to help her. Clearly, she was very uncomfortable. She didn't feel safe. She kept moving. And of course, being me, I was annoyed. You know, nobody stood up for her, and there were grown men all around. And so that bothered me. So of course, being me, I stood up. I walked over to them, and I told this man to sit down and leave her alone. And she made it very clear multiple times that she did not want to speak to him, and she wanted nothing to do with him, and he didn't stop. And so I told him that. She made it clear, leave her alone, go and sit down. And then he turned to me and said, well, you know, she liked it, everything's fine. You know, I can mind my own business. Well, no, I can't mind my own business, because this is my business. Someone is being bullied, and that's not okay. And so that's when I had it. So I turned to him, and I noticed his friends sitting a few rows back chuckling, right, to see what comes out of this. And I said to him, looking straight in his eyes, what happened to you when you were a child that caused you to be so hurtful and mean? What caused you to think that behaving this way and harassing this woman, or any woman, or anyone else for that matter, is acceptable? Who do you think you are treating others this way? and I'm staring at him right in the eyes when I'm looking at this stone cold, straight faced. I want to know what his answers are. And so I kept saying this to him. What happened to you as a child that caused you so much pain? How could you be so hurtful and mean? Who do you think you are? And so as I'm sitting and staring at him, standing there and staring at him, waiting for a response, and I wasn't sure what to get out of it, the woman sitting there, wide-eyed, in shock, and this man, this grown man who was harassing and bullying this woman on the train, began hysterical crying, saying that it was all about his mother, that she was abusive, and he went on and on and on. And I have to say, my jaw must have hit the floor, because while I do believe that there are always underlying experiences that causes this behavior, I certainly did not expect it to come out on the train in front of everyone. I mean, it was a packed car, and it was loud. So, needless to say, I immediately softened my tone and my facial expression, and I talked it through with him for a few more minutes. And then, the train stop, it came to his stop, and he got up and he thanked me, gave me a hug, and then left the train with his friends, who were high-fiving me on the way out. And I'm just blown away that not one of them stopped his behavior. But, at this point, they were all shocked and no longer chuckling. They were amazed. And so it was at that moment, the people on the train began to stand up, loudly clapping and cheering me on with a standing ovation, simply because I helped somebody and I got through to him. I mean, helping someone deserves a standing ovation? Has it really come to that? I mean, I was proud and I was grateful to feel that, but I was also disappointed that I was the only one who felt like I should stand up for this woman. And so that was something I needed to think about. And it was at that moment I realized something clicked. He was damaged. He was. And I got through to him on the train in front of a bunch of strangers. And he was intoxicated, which was even more of a surprise. But, your emotions come out more so with alcohol. And so the moral of the story is that bullying comes in many forms, and not just with kids. Adults experience it too, and I've seen it. So please comment and share any challenges or stories that you have, or someone has experienced with some sort of bullying, and trying to set boundaries, because it's significant. This topic is, it's in all the schools. It's with adults. Adults don't normally talk about it, but it's a pretty serious topic. And so what I want to do now, and just one other quick story really, is I'm scrolling through Facebook the other day, and one of my Facebook friends posts a picture of her child. And her child was beautiful, saying that her child had overheard, who was a teenager, or actually maybe late high school or early college. And this girl overheard some boys saying that she was ugly. And that this sent this girl into a spiral of emotions, unhealthy thoughts and behaviors. And it was just so sad, and my heart really bled for her. I felt so much pain for her. And, of course I wrote back of, she's beautiful, and what about standing up for yourself? And how about self-love and learning that who cares, right? And so it happens with kids and teens, and it happens with adults. It happens anywhere. And so knowing what to do, what it looks like, is really important. And so I want to shift from the story to actually talking about bullying and boundaries, and specifically what bullying and crossing boundaries might look like. So what we say or do to others, verbal and emotional abuse, how powerful these words and actions can be once they're said or done. They can't be taken back, and I guarantee they are not forgotten. It affects children, teens, and adults. It affects kids in how they treat a parent or a family member as compared to their friends, right? Sometimes I hear about kids or parents allowing their children to treat them or speak to them poorly or badly because they feel bad for them or whatever else is going on. And that's not okay either. So with bullying, there are 3 types of bullying. There's verbal bullying, and that's saying or writing mean or hurtful things, like it could be teasing, name calling, inappropriate sexual comments, taunting, threatening to cause harm. There's also social bullying, which involves hurting someone's reputation or relationships. Cyberbullying, right, online or in person, right, doesn't matter. Leaving someone out or excluding them on purpose. That's a bullyish behavior, and it doesn't feel good. Encouraging others not to be friends with someone. Spreading rumors about someone. Embarrassing someone in public. Posting and sharing private stories without their permission on social media and the internet. Or creating internet groups or pages specifically targeting people, right? Or kids or groups of kids, girls or boys or whatever it is. Then there's physical bullying, and that involves hurting a person's body or possessions, right? Physical bullying includes hitting, spitting, kicking, punching, tripping, pushing, taking or breaking someone's possessions, making mean or rude hand gestures. I'm sure we could think of a few there. All of these things are part of bullying. It's not just one size fits all, right? It comes in many different forms and fashions, and it is very serious. Why bullying happens? Well, people have experienced bullying in their past. They have a history of being abused physically, emotionally, sexually. They've experienced they've had experience with traumatic experiences in their life, and they haven't been provided any outlets for their energy. And so it's also, they have a need to be in control because somewhere in their current or past life, someone took that from them. And if they're a younger child, you can take control from them. As an adult, it's allowing someone to take control. They define their own significance by putting someone else down. It makes them feel better or more valued or worthy because that's what they learned. And so identities are formed by learned beliefs, which are caused by our past experiences. And so we become a product of our environment unless we change our beliefs, right? And so I want to talk about a few things that we can do to stop bullying on the spot, right? So when people respond quickly and consistently to bullying behavior, they send out a message that it's not acceptable. Parents, school staff, coaches like myself, mentors, and other adults in the community can help kids prevent bullying by talking about it, building a safe environment, and creating a bullying prevention strategy, and teaching and learning how to set healthy boundaries, right? And even kids can help prevent bullying by sticking up for each other. So if you're a kid in school and you see somebody picking on someone else, stand up for that person, right? If you see someone being bullied, help them and stand up for them. However, of course, if it feels unsafe or dangerous, if you get a sense in your gut, which we call gut wisdom, immediately tell someone or call 911 if it becomes physical or really dangerous. Don't wait and don't fight back in those instances, right? So you have to learn where to set your boundaries of safety as well as getting involved. But certainly go and tell someone and get someone immediately. Learning to love yourself and feel confident enough to care less about what others think or feel or say about you. You know who you are, and you know your intentions. So what? They don't like you. So what? They say mean things about you. Why do you, or people in general, really care about what these people say or believe about us? Why do you care what people say or believe about you? Why is that important to you? It's what you believe about yourself that actually matters the most. Who cares what everyone else believes? That's their own perception of their own reality. That's not reality for you. That might be reality for them, but it's not yours. You create your own reality. Another way to stop bullying on the spot is tell another person, or tell the person doing the bullying, you don't appreciate the way they're behaving, or that the way that they're treating you, and that you're done. And by looking them in the eyes, looking in the eyes of the person who is bullying, and tell him or her to stop in a stern but calm and clear voice, and then turn and walk away. You can also, if you don't feel comfortable, just ignore it and walk away without saying anything. You don't need to give it any credit either. The point is that you don't have to stand there and take it. You can just leave. You set your boundary. I am done. I don't feel good. This doesn't feel good. I don't appreciate this. I do not deserve this. I know who I am. I know I am worth it. And I do not care to surround myself around people like you. And you leave. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but you have to love yourself enough and build up your own confidence to say, who cares? Who really cares? And then leave, right? And so as people, we really should be looking out for one another. Just imagine feeling so badly that you want to end your life. Think about caring so much about what others say and believe about you that you no longer feel valued or have a place on this earth. Just imagine the pain and the hurt caused by this reckless behavior of bullying. And is it truly worth it? Is it truly worth it? Can you ignore it? Can you stop it, right? We need to handle this. It needs to stop. And it's up to us. Everyone is responsible. And so most of this bullying behavior can be prevented by learning boundaries, learning healthy boundaries. And that comes with self-love and self-worth and learning how to communicate more effectively. We all have a responsibility to stop and prevent bullying and teach others how to stand up for themselves. It's everyone's responsibility. It's not just one person. It's not just a parent. It's not just an educator or a coach or a mentor. We all are responsible to make sure that ourselves and everyone else is safe to an extent, right? So I just imagine what it would feel like by helping someone and teaching them how to stand up for themselves. Imagine what it feels like to help someone and have them say to you, because of you, I am safe. Well, I can say with certainty for me that that's the best feeling in the world, to help someone when they truly need it. That's what life coaching is about for me. To be the support and guidance that people need through the most challenging times in their life. And sometimes it's not the most challenging times, it's just a challenging time. But no one needs to do it alone, right? There is support and guidance out there. And that's why I'm doing these videos, these live series, is to get the word out there. You are not alone. So how can we avoid bullying and crossing boundaries with others? How can we avoid it? Let's treat everyone with respect, realizing you don't have the right to treat people with disrespect. Nobody does. Setting healthy boundaries and being respectful, I mean, you do that respectfully, right? So you don't have to be disrespectful to set healthy boundaries and stand up for yourself, right? It's stopping the behavior that no longer feels good and doesn't serve you. So stop and think before you say or do something that could hurt someone else, hurt their feelings, physically hurt them. What is your intention? Think about what it is that you want to get across, and even how it would feel if it were you. How is the other person going to receive your message? What is it going to feel like for them? Will it feel good? Or will it be hurtful? And why would you want to be hurtful, right? Why would you want someone else not to feel good? So if you feel like being mean to someone, think about what's causing you to feel the need to be mean, because something's triggering that feeling, that anger, whatever it is. You need to keep moving away from those feelings and onto a more purposeful life. And so we need to figure it out. What's the trigger? And let's find productive ways to move forward. And that's part of coaching. Also, if you think you've been bullied by someone in the past, apologize, right? Sincere apologies can mean the world to someone and may even cause them to avoid suicide. I've seen it before. You never know. It's the little things that make the biggest impact on others, so be kind. And take that small step to do something or say something nice to someone else, to lift them up and not push them down, right? Because when we lift others up, we lift ourselves up as well. What about boundaries, right? So boundaries are different. Are you aware of what needs to be in place for you to thrive in your life? Do you have clearly defined boundaries that are honored and protected? Or have you created boundaries but still allow them to be crossed every now and then? And so you're not standing up for yourself and the boundaries that you're creating. Do you experience resistance, whether it's from yourself or others, when you're expressing your boundaries to others? Right? People who tend to be controlling in your life will give you the most resistance when you start to set boundaries, but that's okay. Having healthy boundaries is important because it helps maintain a positive self-worth, and you don't allow other people to define who you are. There are 3 types of personal boundaries. They are rigid, porous, and healthy boundaries. So having healthy boundaries means that you value your own opinion. You don't compromise your values for anyone else. You only share personal information when it's appropriate, and you're accepting of others when they say no to you and set boundaries for themselves, right? That's having healthy boundaries. That's what that means. And there's more to that. I mean, I could talk forever on this topic, but having rigid boundaries means you tend to avoid intimacy or close relationships, or you don't usually ask for help, or you have just a few close relationships. You seem or feel detached. You tend to distance yourself to avoid rejection. Having porous boundaries means you overshare personal information, right? Have you heard of, are you an oversharer? Do you know someone who always shares too much? And, or having porous boundaries means you have difficulty saying no to others, or you get over involved with someone else's problems, right? You can be there to support someone without taking it on as your own, right? You may even tolerate abuse or disrespect. But you need to keep in mind that the appropriateness of boundaries depends heavily on the setting in which it's taking place in. So what's appropriate when you're out with your friends is certainly not going to be appropriate, or may not be appropriate, depending on the behavior, of when you're at work or with your family or with your children, like whatever it may be. It's just different, right? So it just depends on the setting and where you're at, where the boundaries take place. So how do you set a boundary, right? It's not easy. It's not. It takes practice. And if you're someone who struggles with setting boundaries, or you have people who tend to take advantage of you, or you allow others to take advantage of you, because that's what it is, that can be scary. But I have to tell you, it's so worth it. And so having a boundary and knowing what that boundary is will be crucial to you moving forward in your life. So thinking about what doesn't feel right, what must change for you, right? Reaffirm your own needs. Like, generally speaking, people with weak boundaries tend to have a low awareness of their own needs. So you can make a list of what you need and you believe, right? What's clear for you that you will not continue to accept? What must you know that you'll take action on, and make sure that there is an action to be taken? So what's the consequence of the behavior or the response you're going to have when someone is crossing a boundary, right? Announce it. If this happens again, I'm leaving. Or if you continue to speak to me or treat me this way, I'm not going to stay around. I'm going to walk away, and I'm not going to come back until you're ready to have a respectful conversation or be kind. And you don't negotiate that, right? You state your point and you leave. You don't go on. It doesn't need to be a long, lengthy process. You just say what it is, put up your boundary, make sure you're communicating it, and leave. And those who tend to be more controlling are the ones who are going to have the most struggle with you setting boundaries. And that's okay, because it's not about them, it's about you. Making sure that you're healthy. Regarding cyberbullying, disconnect, unfriend, unfollow, report abusive behavior, and block, block, block. Block those who are doing the bullying. Block those who contribute to the person doing the bullying or encourage someone who's bullying. Disassociate with anyone who behaves that way, right? Avoid spending time with people who are your friends sometimes, but in other times they are not your friends, right? I've heard so many times, especially some of my clients, my younger clients, when I coach them one-on-one, that I'll hear that, my best friends, these were my best friends for, 4 years, and now I went to school yesterday and none of them are talking to me. That's bullying. They're excluding you. They are ganging up. It doesn't feel good, right? So those people who are part of it, they may not actually do the bullying, but they're supporting the bullying. Those are not your friends, and you don't need them. You don't. They're not adding value to your life. They're only going to bring you down. So walk away. If it doesn't feel good, walk away. How exactly do you set these boundaries? So if someone asks you for something or to do something, say no. Simply and firmly say no to something that you don't want to do. You don't need to explain it. You just need to be clear on what it is feels right for you. Right? And so if saying no is what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. You do not need to explain it. If it's a parent, you might want to have a conversation, or it's a teacher, you might want to have a conversation depending on the situation. Be mindful of having a conversation, but you don't always need to explain it. So you can let someone know you don't appreciate their behavior and walk away. If someone's yelling at you over the phone or in person, you walk away, or if it's over the phone, you hang up, stop texting, and you block them. And you could talk with them when they are more calm and respectful, because everyone deserves respect, and that's a hard stop, right? It's important to have personal boundaries because they define how we approach all of our relationships in our lives, the relationships with others, but mostly the relationship with ourselves. And so our boundaries that we create, we figure out what our needs and desires are, right? We create these boundaries. They help us live in sync with our authentic selves. So who are you being? Where we can say no to the things that we don't want, or the things that no longer serve us. And you could say yes to the things, it frees up time. You could say yes to the things that we do want to be experiencing in life. So clearly established boundaries help us to take care of ourselves emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And our boundaries help us to become less concerned about how we are viewed or what others think or perceive, and more satisfied with the perceptions we have of ourselves. So share in the comments below ways that you or someone you know may be struggling with boundaries. You don't have to give names. Or what you'd like to be experiencing in life, what you'd like to overcome. I'd love to hear it. And this is being recorded. It's live now, but it's being recorded, and I will go back and respond to comments, and I want to have a discussion. You could certainly private message me, and I'll have a one-on-one conversation with you, and we'll talk about what it is that you need to overcome, and we'll see if we can work together. But I really want to understand some of the struggles that you're feeling and you're seeing, or that you see someone experiencing, and what you can do to support them, what you want to be experiencing in your life and what they want to be experiencing in their life, right? So I actually love sharing this with you, and I'm curious if you can let me know in the comments about this whole video and everything that I covered, what resonated the most with you. And if you'd like to learn more about how life coaching could support you or someone you know in building confidence, setting healthy boundaries, overcoming challenges, building relationships, learning how to communicate effectively, and empowering you to be your best self, please message me. I'll have a conversation. And we'll go from there. And so for those of you who are joining after the fact, you can always go to the Mindshift Coaching Facebook page, click videos, and watch or share this replay. I think it's really good information. It's my first episode of the Let's Talk Live series. It'll be every Wednesday at 12 o'clock. And thanks for being here. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to reading the comments. And I'll see you next week, same time, same place for the next episode of Let's Talk Life. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.